So first bit of work getting done today. Pulled some of the bolts off the water pump. Got the pulley off in the clutch fan assembly. Tried to use the impact to get the crank pulley off, but to no avail as of now. Keep you updated. Got the front pulley off and this little timing belt, tooth. This pulley, the tensioner pulley, and the front cover off. Now I'm trying to get these old paper gaskets off. Not too bad looking, but could be better. Yeah, new timing belt there, ready to go. Got the oil drained, as I believe I showed. Drained all the coolant out of the radiator. Pulled the head off. Got the alternator off. A bunch of other things that I'm gonna need. Fuel rail. I'm swapping over my NA intake cam for the turbo intake cam. The reason I'm doing this is because I believe the NA cam has a longer duration, so that actually works better with the turbo from what I've read on the forums, and gives you possibly 10, 15, even maybe 20% or 20 more horsepower, not percent, just 20 more horsepower. So I pulled the two ugly orange cam pulleys off, just put a belt around them, hit them with the impact, and I pulled this front cover off, and now I'm going to go ahead and take all the caps off, keep them in the same order for the intake cam, and I'm going to swap the NA intake cam over. I have both of them set at top dead center, as you can see here with the marks on the cams. And I have the NA one also set at TDC, so the cam should be in the exact same place. That way it makes my life a lot easier. Got all the caps off of both sides. Luckily, they all have a number and an arrow on them. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Both of them are the same. Then both about set same spot. You can just pop them out. Hopefully, there we go. So the NA one out, and the turbo one out. Luckily enough, I do have new seals for the front here, so I can also swap those out while the cams are out. Now, let's this guy over. So then about, make sure your seal stays on. I got the turbo cam on the NA head and the NA cam on the turbo head. Now I gotta wait for my get my buddy's torque wrench, and then I can torque it all down to spec and good to go. But for now, they're just all finger tight on there. So got the motor stripped down as far as I could. Pretty much everything's off of it. Got it pressure washed off first, then I hit it with some paint stripper to get some of that orange paint off. Did the best I could. Still need to clean up a little bit of chips here and there. Looks like it might have been actually a junkyard motor because there's some writing underneath. Who knows? But gonna get it ready to paint. Can get rid of the disgusting orange cam gear now. Got the motor all painted black yesterday and ready to go. Looks pretty good. There's some stuff that I left. I just taped over these parts, Front cover back on, new gaskets in there behind on both sides. Also got the new water pump on with a new gasket as well. Of course, we don't ever use old gaskets. Got a couple of the pulleys on here as well. Slowly moving forward. So I gotta put a couple more bolts in, but First thing I'm starting out with is I'm gonna be installing the ARP head stud kit. So here's the studs, got the nuts and the washers, the instructions here, and then the assembly lube that comes with it. First, what I'm doing is I'm taking one of the old head bolts and I'm running it down through all of the bolt holes on each one to sort of help clean out the threads first. So I'm just hand tightening it down as far as I can go, pulling it out, and then wiping it off with my microfiber. And then after each one, I'm going to spray them all out with my air compressor with the little air hose attachment on it. Just to, kind of spray as much of the debris out of there as possible so the surface is as clean as it can be for the new head studs. Alright, so now that everything's cleaned and blown off, fairly dry, I've opened up the lubricant, so I'm going to start applying it on the ends of the threads that go into the block. See these sides, there we go, some light, don't have the hex head on them. So this is the side that goes into the top of the block. So I'm going to put some of the fastener assembly lubricant on there and then start threading them in hand tight. got the head studs all installed. There we go. All of them have some assembly lube on them. Thread it down in there, hand tight, and they're good to go. Next, I got to put on the head gasket, then set the head on top. Get the washers in first, and then the bolts or the nuts on top there. And then torque them all down to 90 foot-pounds in the right torque sequence, of course. Just need that flush setting, and then I'm gonna finish torquing down the camshaft and get that all settled. Get the timing belt back on, front cover, big old crank pulley. Should be good to go. We're getting close on the final stretch. I've started torquing the head down. Got all the washers and the nuts in. You can see that. Assembly lube on each of them. And then I started by first snugging them all down in the correct sequence using just a normal wrench. And then I'm stepping it up to 90 foot-pounds in 3 different steps. Then over here, I got the timing belt covers, and I'm painting them sort of an aluminum finish. Had a little mistake on that one over there that I gotta sand back down and go over again. No biggie. But yeah, so that's what I'm got done today. Right now I'm working through my first sequence at 30 foot-pounds. Or 60. This is my second round, sorry. Next bit of progress I made is I got this back timing belt cover on. 2 bolts in here behind the pulleys, 2 there, these 2 down here, and I got 1 more that needs to go in there. These 3 are for the over cover that goes on. And as you can see, I got a new timing belt on. So I had to get belt down around these, slide it over the top. Got both of these set pretty much at top dead center. I might have to adjust it a little bit, make sure the timing's good. Put the tensioner spring on, tighten down the tensioner pulley. This should be torqued down already. Should be good to go. Now I gotta torque these now. So right now I'm putting this small gasket into the timing belt cover. See, it's got little notches in it, just slides into there. And then after that, I'm going to be putting the intake gasket on the head for that part of the intake manifold, and just continue to work my way up till I got it on. Got this lower timing belt cover pretty much fully bolted on. So yeah. All right, so shut up Honda. I set the 2 timing covers on so we could get a look at how she's gonna look. There we go. I think it's looking pretty good. So I got the lower intake plenum or manifold, whatever you want to call it, on there, tightened down. Homemade EGR block off plate, since in Ohio here we don't have to worry about emissions, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Less restrictive, you know. Yeah, new gasket in there, new gasket behind the EGR block off plate. Got that thing tightened down, all of it. I got the upper part of the intake manifold test fit on there. I don't have the gasket in, so it's not fully bolted up. I got the fuel rail just set in there, as you can see. Just wanted to, get a better look at how it's all gonna look together. I had to take the front cover off for the timing belts again, because my timing belt was loose, as you can now see. Much better, much tighter. Got the pulley on again, all the bolts in here. Valve covers are just sitting on there right now because I need to either decide if I want to paint them the same as this or try and do my best to polish them up. As you can see, there's still a lot of little nooks and crannies of like blue paint I gotta get off. Got the exhaust manifold on with the gasket, you can see in there. Don't have the turbo on yet because I have to reclock it. I did put it back together as you saw, but I gotta clock it again. Actually, I clocked it wrong. Turbo would be facing in this way, and that's useless. I needed to face down. Yeah, it's still orange. It's ugly. Turbo and the exhaust and all that'll block most of it, but that's all gonna cook off. I mean, you can see it's already chipping all over the place. I'm almost positive this isn't high temperature paint. Pretty sure the dude who painted it last time just used regular old spray paint, and so that'll come right off. As you can see, can't really see much of any of the orange over here. Especially when you'll be, looking down in the engine bay like this, you only get a little bit there. Spark plugs and coil and all that'll be covering that up, as long as the rest of the intake too. So yeah, decent amount of progress. Just waiting, paint to dry over here. So like I said, I had to repaint it because I had made a mistake and there's a couple bubbles. I got the gasket surfaces cleaned off for the oil pan. Gotta dry this thing out actually so it doesn't get any surface rust. I need to do that. And I also cleaned the gasket surface on the bottom of the block. If this will focus, there we go. There's still a little bit of the silicone there, but Nothing like it was before, especially on this. This was terrible. As you can see now, it's much better. Still a little bit, like I said, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. This thing's fully built, ready to go, and then I'm going to start pulling the motor out of this guy. Well, what's left of the motor, since the head's sitting over there. And transmission out. That way I can do my new shifter bushing that I bought a long time ago that I still haven't done yet, just because I need to pull the transmission and haven't had a reason to. Yes, I know, kind of lazy, but oh well. What else does she need done? I gotta mount the wings still, the spoiler. Got the rest of the door trim. I don't know if I talked about that, but I have all the door trim now and all the, side trim. So she'll have all of her body trim. I got a new set of gauges since the blue ones stopped lighting up. I want to still try and use them, trying to figure out what's wrong with them, but I have a second set just in case. Also got a new speedometer cable that hooks into the transmission. That way my speedometer will work now, since it didn't when I first bought the car. Fuel pump switch is still wired up, so that's good. And as you can see, she definitely needs a good coat of paint. Starting to chip a little bit back there by the gas cap. Coils. I've got all of the new stuff that I've bought pretty much on the car. I got the new water pump on, new timing belt on. What else did I buy? I don't know. The only other new things that haven't been put on the car, besides all the other gaskets. ARP head studs. Got those in. And here I have the spark plug wires, and I just threw the spark plugs in there, as well as the gaskets for the turbo, the oil, and the coolant lines, and a new pilot bearing. There's a new pilot bearing in here. Guess I could open that. As you can see, there's the new gauges, speedometer cable. Yeah, so turbo gaskets, the tiny little Mark III Supra pilot bearing. That'll be fun. Fire extinguisher, safety first or third. There's the intercooler. It's a parts bin. The car is currently a parts bin. At least the driver's seat is clear. And all the little interior bits, I don't know if these have been shown either. I got these for Christmas, some black leather bits with red stitching, and the TRD shift knob with the cool little gear thing on it. She's nice, feels good. Actually, it's in first right now, so I'm gonna play with it. Yeah, that's today's update. Hopefully I can get that once it's dry and bolted back on here, so she looks pretty nice. Only from this side. When you look from over here, it's, Bengals colors. I just have the coils sitting up top there. I still need to clean them. But yeah, there you go. There's a more complete look of what she'll look like when she's done.